Uh, we remember everything. We're recording on time this week. Everything is acting normal.
Everything is in time with Justin Timberlake. And
time after time.
His sister mom.
We need to fight.
Because no one ages after fucking 25 in that movie.
We need to fight. This podcast needs more contention. We gotta fight.
I think In Time is the greatest modern thriller.
I never heard it.
It's not a great movie.
Oh wait, that's the one where he has to like. Oh, okay, now never mind. I heard of it. I just never seen it.
Yeah, everyone's got the clocks on their arms.
Yeah, and you like buy things with like, it's just like, hey, can I get a cup of coffee? Sure, that'll be like 40 seconds.
Yeah, it's a pretty heavy-handed analogy for consumerism and capitalism and capitalistic culture. It's a lot of no. I can't even fake say that it's a lot of fun. There's some like funky ideas in it.
It looked like stupid fun.
Yeah,
but that's not what this is about.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of what this is about.
It's what this is about, but not what this is about. It makes broad gesture to everything around us.
What simulates broad gesture as well? This all about?
This broad gestures over here to my right, and then over here to my left is a podcast.
A podcast? What's that?
It's kind of like this audio format where it's kind of like a radio talk show, but without the radio part.
That sounds fucking boring.
It is. Because we don't... It is. Because we don't fight enough.
I mean, it's not a lot to fight about.
It's you know what? It's because we don't have... One of us isn't the fucking worst.
Yeah, we need some garbage. We need to add some garbage to this program. We record in a dumpster, and yet there is not enough garbage for this program.
It's been cleaned. It's been emptied. And no one's really using it because of the COVID.
That's true. What do we do on this podcast?
Well, we always say our names, so I'm Alex, and you're Ian, so we do that.
Am I?
Apparently. Am I? According to the last 117 something episodes, yes.
Shit. That's a lot of episodes.
Yeah, it's a lot of episodes. We're busy.
We're busy folks. We watched a lot of anime, because that's what we do.
It's a lot of episodes. A lot of episodes with about, like, average 30 views each.
Don't worry, we'll get there.
I'm going to be grumpy this week.
All right.
A lot of shit happened.
All right, you do you. Yeah, we talk about seasonal anime. We watch 5 or this season 6 because we carried over Fire Force. Because 2 core, we watch a series of shows and then we talk about them.
Yeah.
What shows have we watched?
We watched Akudama Drive.
Sounds fucking lame.
It's fucking awesome. It's one of the best shows on this list. You're wrong. You're stupid.
Yeah.
You're holding us back.
I love the shit out of this show.
That was a cool episode. It was a heist. It was cool.
All the episodes, I keep forgetting to bring this up. All the episodes are named after fucking movies. Because you got episode 1 is 7. Episode 2 is Reservoir Dogs. Episode 3 is Mission Impossible. And episode 4 isn't out yet because we're totally recording this on time.
Yeah, episode 4 is not out yet, and we have not seen it. Well, that part is true.
Yeah. Just to keep the events clear. But we couldn't have watched it anyway because it's not out yet. Who'd have thunk it? Anyway, what happened on episode 3? It's a train heist.
Yeah, they have to split up into 2 groups to rob this train, and it's really cool.
It's 3 groups, actually. Because Courier goes off by himself.
Right, yeah. That's not a group.
I mean, he goes off. I count it as a group because he goes off with the cat. But anyway.
The cat's not participating, though.
But he's there.
Just watching.
He's there all the time, and is still
But
a character.
if you split up into group work in school and like your teacher's just kind of overseeing you, your teacher's not in your group.
I mean, it is if I can like talk to the teacher.
They're still not in your group though. They're an overseer.
That's fair, I guess. Anyway, group 1, we have shit, Hoodlum. That's his name. I keep forgetting his designation. We got Hoodlum, we got Brawler, and we got
Doctor.
Doctor. I
Doctor
forgot.
Doctor Mario.
I forgot for a second because she does essentially nothing. Group 2, we got.
Hey, she knocks out those guys at the beginning with her poison gas, and that's it.
Oh yeah, she needs to take out a couple dudes. They basically, the plan is to activate the elevator to get down to the Shinkansen. You need to activate 2 buttons at the exact same time. But how the
But
fuck
there's
do
no
we
way to
do that?
communicate because the place doesn't allow radio signals to travel. So they have no way of communicating with group A to group B. So they come up with the plan of they're going to have to use a timer and both hope they make it there at that exact moment.
We need to synchronize our watches. I also love when Swindler is she's talking about it. She's like, "Oh, we can call each other on the phone," and even the cat is like, "That's funny, Swindler. No one would come up with that stupid of an idea.
Only you.
Only you." And she's like, "Oh, fuck me, I guess." So instead,
Yeah.
they decide they're gonna synchronize their watches.
Her group is Hacker and Cutthroat.
Yes, because
The
of
Bishi
course,
Boys.
Cutthroat needs to go with her always, all the time. And
And what they
it
essentially need to do is get hack. The idea is to get Hacker inside the train, but the train has this sort of like plasma barrier thing where anything that goes through it that's not supposed to be in there is vaporized.
yeah, it's a pretty tight security system.
Yeah, so they need to get Hacker inside to one of the boxes there and have him sort of hack the information of what should be inside there and then get inside, and then once he gets inside that, he can open up the train for Courier.
Yeah, and shut down the like crazy plasma laser field so everyone can just get on the
The
train and it'll be
Aurora
fine.
Borealis.
Aurora Borealis. David Boreanaz.
But yeah, so they do it and they find out that for some reason both the
That voice
elevator
from Naruto.
buttons are protected by Shinto gates.
That have force fields, because fuck you.
Yeah. And they both come this is the equivalent of they got a puzzle set, like the DM set up a puzzle and both groups just brute force the puzzle.
Watching Brawler brute force the puzzle reminded me of James's Barbarian sprinting so hard he broke a cursed hallway.
Yep.
That was the best shit ever.
Consistent crits will do that. But yeah, so Courier throws his knives and they kind of just get stuck in sort of the force field. But then he realizes, oh, just throw another one and it pushes that one forward and you can just keep pushing them and pushing them.
And then it's fine until it's not fine because he runs out of knives at the last moment.
Yep, and the timer's counting down. Brawler, his method is just to pick up all the Shinto Gates pillars and just throw them.
Hey, this side of the gate isn't protected. I'm just gonna fucking break them all.
Which, you know what? Good on you. It's probably a lot easier to do than the knife method.
It is, and I absolutely love his solution.
But yeah, so Hoodlum is running to go press the button at the last second, and it doesn't look. They ran out of knives on Swindler's side, so she takes Hacker's drone and throws it just to push the knives further, just a little bit more. And
Turns
Hoodlum,
out the real knives were the drones that Hacker made along the way.
yeah, and Hoodlum trips and he hits his head on the button right as the knife pushes into it. So they manage to actually succeed.
Mission accomplished. You have solved my elevator puzzle. Congratulations. You can now do the heist.
and they go to do the heist, but an EMP gets triggered before Hacker is done setting the system for the box he's going to climb into.
Because Brawler is a dipshit and is like, I'm gonna push the button. Because fuck it, why not?
So the only thing left is he's like, well, I didn't get to set the specifications, but I did get the weight right, so it would have to be someone lighter than me. And they realize Courier's heading straight for it, so Courier is, if no one does anything, gonna ride right into Plasma.
Who amongst them could possibly be lighter than Hacker? I don't know.
And you know what? I'm gonna be quite honest. By the looks of the two of them, I feel like Hacker just looks like the lightest.
Yeah.
I feel like he's smaller than her.
I'm pretty sure he is. He's at least shorter. Maybe he's not like skinnier, but he is definitely shorter. Hacker is a small boy.
So they assume, so she is obviously the smallest one, and she volunteers so Courier doesn't fucking die. And
because she has to.
I'm surprised she takes her bag with her if weight is the issue on this thing, where they're like, yeah, so hopefully this doesn't instantly incinerate you.
Fingers crossed. And it doesn't.
Yep, and so she gets in, and Courier is like seconds away from crossing through the plasma gate, and she's really pushing down on it, on the lever, and then she finally gets it right before, a second before he would have been vaporized, and he's like, nice timing.
Because it turns out that the secret to taking down the barrier on this train is a big-ass lever right inside. Which it begs the question from the beginning, why does Hacker need to do it at all? Why you could have had literally anyone else do it.
Because
just have Hacker overwrite the box.
They needed them to go in the box, and it's probably easier to fit a smaller person in there. And they probably just assumed that, oh, there'll probably be more tech stuff inside, so we'll need him.
Yeah, and then everyone gets in the train, because after they hit the EMP, the Shinkansen is like, hey, some shit just went down, so I'm gonna dip. All right, see ya.
Yeah, emergency takeoff.
Bye. And everyone gets on the train though, so it's fine. And it's just fucking bonkers, and I love it.
It's cool shit.
This show is great. I love it. What's next?
Wandering Witch, The Journey of Elena.
So, is more kind of dour shit.
Most of it's dour shit.
I'm okay with that.
Most of the series is dour shits, with a couple of like non-dour ones sprinkled in here and there.
I like having a wandering around series that's got some dour shit and a protagonist who's kind of arrogant and just like, nah, I'm good. You guys do your thing. I'll sit out here. Taco's good outside.
Taco's good out here.
Taco's good out here. I like that podcast. The Adventure Zone is a good podcast. But this week we go to a town and it's all frimmed up.
Yep, I think this one is called The Queen of an Empty Country.
It's called The Princess Without Subjects, actually.
Well, that's what it's called in the book.
I have the page pulled up. That's how I got that one.
Oh.
I'm showing my work.
I have the book pulled up in my hand.
In your hands. I wonder if that's like a translate.
Some book ASMR.
Book asthma.
Book asthma.
Hey, do you guys have book asthma? Yeah, dude. Freaking get too many books and you can't breathe. Anyway.
Yep, so Elena finds some country where at first it looks like it's snowing, but then you realize, it's all ash.
Yes, because if you ever go somewhere and it is snowing while things are destroyed, that ain't snow, homie.
Yep,
that ain't snow.
But it is cold, and she's looking for a place to stay, but this entire country looks like it's completely destroyed. But she if she goes back the way she came, it'll take her before nightfall, before she reaches someplace, and it's just too cold. But she sees there's one building that isn't really destroyed.
It's the castle. The castle. And so she goes, but no one answers the door, so she burns it down, as all good wizards would do.
Yep, and then she goes inside and she finds there is a woman living there.
Who is a little pissed about her door.
Yeah, but then she's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "Oh, I actually forget her name. Let me
I
pull up
also forget her name.
Don't worry, you just described the plot. Oh, her name is Mira Rose?
Mira Rose.
Yeah.
That
her
is
name
correct.
is Mira Rose, and
I was quizzing you the whole time.
She is she has amnesia, but she has a letter written to her from someone. As soon as you see that part, you're like, oh, it's you write the letter to yourself who has amnesia part. It's my dearest Daniel.
Damn,
my
Daniel.
good friend Daniel.
Damn, Daniel. Back at it again with the white vans.
No, I'm doing amnesia.
I know. But how much fun would amnesia be if Daniel had white vans on?
And he's like, damn, Daniel. Back at it again with the white vans. You must make it to the bottom of the manor, though. You have to make it to the bottom of the manor with your white vans.
Who is this mysterious stranger? How did he know I would be wearing my white vans on this day?
It is me, Daniel. I chose to forget. I chose to forget my white vans so I would be impressed by them all over again.
I chose to forget my white vans for some more cryptic bullshit. Because no one ever just lays it out and is like, hey, all this shit happened. It's pretty important that you know that.
Most stories, too, when someone induces amnesia to themselves, they don't actually need it. Yeah. Like, the only time I can think of where giving yourself amnesia was, like, a tactical benefit was just Death Note.
Yes.
It was, like, the only time.
I will give it to this one. Later, she does explain that the spell she cast was so powerful that would be a side effect. But we'll get to that.
Yep. So she stays with her, and she's like, yeah, so apparently there's this monster, like, at night, they were just watching from this window, this giant Godzilla-esque monster apparently comes out at night and just starts destroying the town.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up.
And she's like, yeah, so I'm going to go fight that. Do you want to help me? And Elena's just like, nah, it's not really my problem.
Fighting monsters ain't my steez. I'll watch, though. You make some good bread.
Yeah. So they ended up, so she feeds her breakfast and stuff. And because she basically gave her room and board, she decides, all right, well, I'm not going to help you fight the monster, but I'll help you prep it. Because it turns out Mirose is a spellcaster.
Yep. She remembers that she is a witch as well and will also do witch things.
Yep, so Elena decides to help with the preparations at least, which mainly involves digging a giant hole that they're going to have the monster fall into.
And she does it Fantasia style by giving life to all kinds of shit and having it do that.
Yeah. Teddy bear slave labor.
Teddy bear slave labor. I think we got the episode title right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Teddy bear slave labor.
Teddy bear slave labor.
But yeah, so she does that, and then Mirose makes a illusion of the town square looking normal right over it.
She casts hallucinatory terrain. Get it? It's a D&D thing.
Yeah, and so they have to kill the monster, or she's going to go fight the monster, which is named Javalier.
Yeah.
Javalier.
Javalier.
They got French names.
That's the fancy French.
Javalier. And so they go to fight the well, Mirose goes to fight the monster, and Elena says that she's going to leave, but she kind of feels bad. She's like, I kind of don't want this woman to die, so I'm going to just kind of keep watch.
I'll watch, and if things get a little too hairy, I'll keep her from getting murked super hard. But it turns out that everything is fine. Kind of.
And she is getting chased by the monster, and it's a big chase scene. She's shooting at it. It's blowing fire at her, and she's dodging on her broom, kind of ducking and weaving between buildings. And then she
Yeah,
leads
it's
it
a
to the
cool
square,
scene.
and it falls into the hole, and it's a really big hole, and it's can't climb out. And then she just starts bombarding it with magic. And then as she's doing that, has the ho ho ho, I remember now moment,
Yeah. Basically what happened
which
is
is
that she
yeah, it's pretty
she fell
foreshadowed.
it oh yeah, because every episode starts with like her telling a fairy tale or something, but
Yeah,
she
because
never remembers how it ends.
Elena used to read a lot of stories of a traveling witch when she was younger, and she'll reference back the stories. Like, I remember the traveling witch stories I would read involved this, but I don't remember how that story ends.
And
Which,
suspiciously they always mirror a story that she's about to go through.
and then thinking about it, so like Elena, you really gotta have to start paying attention to more of the endings. You
Yeah,
get the
she
entire
doesn't
plot, but like it's like you skip the last couple of pages.
I get the gist. But story basically, the princess falls in love with, I think he's the son of the cook,
Yeah,
and
no, he
she
is the cook.
gets okay, and she gets super preggers, and the king is like, "That's no fucking bueno," and then he burns both the cook and the bebe, because
Yep. And
yeah,
so it turns out that was actually her story, and she got super pissed naturally about this, but then decided to take it out on literally everybody by turning her dad into a giant monster and have him eat all of his subjects.
yep,
Also,
and
he's still conscious, even though he is a monster, so he's fully aware of what he's doing.
yeah. Are you aware of what you are doing?
Chevalier, are you aware of what you are doing?
I'm fully aware of what I'm doing. And he
My
is,
daughter
and that's
committed a sin. The sin against nature, the life cycle.
the sin against the noble cycle. And then
Yeah.
she kills him. She kills him real hard.
And
And
then
then she goes,
she explains her story to Elena that she was just super pissed about what her dad did, and then that she was gonna just do that. She turned him into a giant monster, had him eat all his subjects and be conscious while doing it. And then she's like, the next day making breakfast, asking if Elena wants to stay. And then Elena sees her talking to herself and people who aren't there. And Elena's like, nah, I'm good, fam.
"Nah, I'm straight, homie.
Yeah.
You eat
You
with your
crazy.
imaginary family." It's yeah, dour shit. But I like this show. It's a lot of fun.
Which is
It's
a pretty
cool.
dangerous. Someone should do something about them.
Someone should say, burn them.
Someone someone should start some sort of crusade.
The Last Crusade with Indiana Jones.
No. No, you fuck.
The Children's Crusade, where all
That was
those
a cool one.
yeah, where all those kids went and either disappeared, got sold into slavery, or just fucking died.
That sounds like a kid's movie that would come out in like the 90s, like The Kids Crusade.
The Kids Crusade.
And it would be like a history film of like kids getting sent back to the crusade to learn about the crusades, but of course it's sanitized for kids.
Oh man, I would have loved an unsanitized account of the Crusades with children that get like fucking. Where's that Magic School Bus episode where they miss they fucking go
Miss
back in
Frizzle.
time. Miss Frizzle takes everyone back in time, and she's like, "All right, kids, grab your armor and your shields. We're gonna go to war." And then fucking Arnold takes his helmet off and he freezes. That shit would be tight. What's next?
A kid in King Arthur's court. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all you
That's
need to know
fair.
about those types of movies.
The Indian in the Cupboard. What's next?
Assault Lily Bouquet.
Hey, we made jokes about their couple name being Yuri.
And then the
And
show does it.
and then guess what? This show does it.
Yeah, so Yu and Riri, apparently the school does ship names.
Yes. I
The school
mean,
literally does ship names.
they're friends with the journalist girl,
And she's
so
like,
of course,
their ship name is gonna be Yuri.
yes,
And everyone in the
yeah,
school's like, teehee, we get it.
we get it. Do you get it? And Yu is like, yeah, I fucking get it, dude.
I'm gonna be honest. This is a pretty stupid show.
This show is dumb, but
Yeah.
it is
It's
what it
fun,
is.
but it is low brain power.
It is this is the haha Bringo Burr show. You just like you
Bingo Burr.
Bringo Burr.
Haha,
You
lesbians go magic sword.
haha Yuri go kawaii. Um this
No,
episode,
you can't like that show. It lacks meaning and substance and a deeper level.
it does have meaning. The meaning is that it's super gay and it makes me comfy and I like it. That's the meaning.
So in this episode, they formed their
Legion.
yeah, they formed their battle sister bond, but
Oh
now
yeah.
they need to form a legion. And um Riri's like, I'm gonna form a legion for you, so I'm gonna go around and ask people.
And Yu is like, that's not the point. The point was to get you to do this for yourself, but that's fine. The objective is the same.
And they basically pick up a bunch of misfit characters that are just like, sure, I got nothing better going on, which is most of them, honestly.
Yeah, there's a lot of people right now. I don't know how far it is into the school year. I don't think it's very far, but there are a lot of people who are like, nah, what? Sure, whatever. I'm not doing much.
Yeah.
And there's like flashes to an Icelandic girl who just transferred in like that day.
The Icelandic girl who dresses really Chinese.
I noticed that too. It kept bugging me because I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, she's the Chinese girl. Wait a minute, she's not Chinese.
Yeah, she's from Iceland, and then there's another girl who is from a country who that's name starts with a T that is in a very political sensitive climate that I will refuse to comment on. But I guess it doesn't matter in this world because it sank.
Yeah,
It was
it's
destroyed
gone.
by the huge, so they solved that problem.
It's gone, so
Yeah.
no one ever has to worry about it ever again.
Who owns that island off the coast of China? The ocean.
No one.
Yeah, the huge.
Fucking Poseidon.
Yeah. But
But
yeah, so these two girls are roommates, and one of them, the Icelandic one, doesn't believe in herself.
of course not.
And the
And
episode is just simply the one from Taipei. We'll simplify it with just that. That's okay. The one from Taipei is like, hey, you should believe in yourself more. I'm nothing special. Okay, I guess if you're nothing special, then you can't join the Legion. And it's like, hey, we should give her a chance. It's like, all right, you gotta pass my test.
yeah, you gotta
It's weird.
shoot me. Prove your self-worth by fucking shooting at me with your big sniper rifle.
And they do this thing where she just has her shoot at her, and then she blocks all the hits and sends one back at the end. But just a it's a weird scene. They're just like, look how close they are that they can do this.
That they can shoot at each other and one will deflect it. It
And then
doesn't
she's
make a
like,
lot of sense.
I can shoot that far and hit her, so I must be good at this. So I believe in myself now.
Because apparently that's like her special ability is she's very good at shooting long distances. Because like
But she
shooting a
already would have
very
known that then. Why did she need this? Why did any of this happen?
She needed a practical demonstration. Fuck it, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me either.
And her and her girlfriend decide now that they're gonna join.
Yeah, because everyone's gay. Everyone is super gay.
Everyone is. I was gonna say, are we even gonna see a man in the show? And then finally, the
No.
chairman is.
Oh yeah, he's an old man.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about him. Because he's a man, so he's not important.
Oh, we get some real nice expositional dialogue where the girls are saying to the chairman of the school, like, as you know, the huge popped up this many years ago during this. So like, oh.
Yeah,
Quality writing right there.
as you know, syndrome.
Yep. As you know, principal of our school.
Person who is older and has been founder of the school for a while, or
Person who has
the
probably
leader.
lived through all of this. The start of
Yes,
it. Before us.
that's like going up to freaking one of the soldiers from the Crusades and being like, "Hey, dude, did you know that there was a whole bunch of Crusades and they were super fucked up?" Yeah, I was there. Of course I know this.
I don't know, I feel like a lot
It's
of Crusaders would have been in denial.
well, they would have been
What
like,
are you talking about? It was glorious.
it was great. It was awesome and I lived through it.
We
It's
never made it to
fantastic.
Jerusalem, but it was pretty good.
To be totally honest, I don't even know where we fucking ended up, but we did
I
a
think
lot of really good pillaging in the name of God.
we sacked Constantinople. But anyway, it was a great time for everyone.
There were a lot of dudes. They had this real weird looking cross, but I knew it wasn't our cross, so it was fine if we like killed them all. Guys,
Mankind.
history is fun. What's
You know why all
next?
that happened? Because they weren't lesbians.
Because you know what? If all the Crusaders were just cute anime lesbians, I don't think the Crusades would have happened. Just a pro tip from me to you. I
But
bet.
you go.
Actually, no. I almost went off on a thing that would have been super not okay. Like even for this show, not okay.
Yeah, we wouldn't want
But
to upset our 30 viewers.
no, I don't want that kind of publicity.
Table that for now. I kind of want to know what it is after.
Yeah,
Next,
I will do my best to remember it.
uh, the day I became a god.
Hey, so the last episode was all about movies. This one's all about ramen.
Yep. So they need to help the sister's friend because her ramen business is shutting down. I'm gonna be honest. My mind was a little elsewhere this episode.
There wasn't, I don't know.
They just help this girl with their ramen place, and he dresses up and pretends he's a 40-year-old man.
You could have won a baby face. I did like the line. You could have won a baby face contest. I did.
There's good banter in this, but
Yeah,
that's,
like
yeah, basically the only parts I remember. Other than that, it's just, hey, he helps out, and then he helps out. He saves the ramen place, and then at the end of the episode, we actually get some real development going on with the plot, where we see some hacker dude with magic hacking.
I bet he's Loki.
Yeah, I 100%. I'm like, well, if they're going with the Norse mythology motif, then probably
Yeah.
he's got that little trickster vibe. And who else are you gonna pick for like a little shit bad guy from Norse mythology? Because there's other bad guys, but not a lot of them are little shits.
Hey, this is my little shit hacker friend, Jormungandr.
Yeah, that would be a bigger thing. But yeah,
Jormungandr
they
was a big snake.
so he has magic hacking powers, and they like handcuff his thumbs together when he's like not doing anything.
Yeah, so he can't do that. Cause he gets all up into trouble and they're like, stop that. And
And
he's
he's
like,
working for
no.
some secret organization or something. So I'm like, oh, this is a departure.
That guy probably ends up destroying the world somehow. Which
This feels very key like though, in terms
if
of like story structure.
if he is Loki, then it would be very fitting that he is the one who ends up destroying the world.
The key structure, the sometimes boring ass slice of life parts, and then you get like the weird supernatural thing that just throws it for a loop.
Yeah.
Usually doesn't happen until way later, and we're like 3 episodes in, and now it's finally happened.
But yeah, it is a fine episode. There's not really like a ton to talk about. The main boy just like shouts a lot about ramen, and they turn the restaurant around, and he kicks the shit out of some thug that they owed money to.
Yeah, some debt collector. by just
Yeah.
following footprint spots on the ground and listening to the callouts from Odin.
He DDRs. He DDRs his way to victory in a fight. And then he still doubts the fact that she's omniscient. Like, dude, she had the foresight to mark footy spots on the ground
Yeah.
for you to step into so you could do the fight.
And this is you, who's probably never fought someone in your life, facing a guy who probably beats up people for fun.
Yeah. But nope. He's still just a weird little kid. Whatever. It's a coincidence. All of these things are just a coincidence.
And Fire Force is next.
Fire Force is not a coincidence.
So Karen is the coolest.
Karen is a cool boy.
I'm glad we made him best antagonist, because every single episode he's in, he proves that we did the right thing last season.
Yeah.
So, the kid is going nuclear still, and things are getting worse. The situation is not improving.
And then the Ashen Reaper decides he's finally going to do something about it.
Now, he doesn't do something yet. Basically, the kid's going nuclear, and he essentially he has an Adela link with Shinra, and Shinra gets to see a bit into his past, and it turns out his parents had super like high expectations for him. It was like the stereotypical like Asian parents of like, if you get either 100 or you failed.
If you're not in first, you're
I
in
saw
last.
one where it was like he's like, I'm sorry I got a bad grade, and it was like an 87.
Yeah. I think that was the last one they showed.
Yeah.
And it's like big oofs.
But yeah, he works under a lot of pressure about having to always succeed and do it and be the best.
So naturally, this child has a mental breakdown.
Yep, and so he makes a huge, giant nuclear laser beam thing, and it is big, where everyone kind of freaks out, and they're like, we gotta get away from that. And Dr. Lick's like, that thing is gonna blow away like the next 25,000 kilometers. There's no way we're running from that.
It doesn't matter if we run away from it. There is literally nowhere to hide.
And then he shoots it, and Shimmer's like, crap, I can't stop it. And then Karen is like, I protect the pillars. And he just grabs it.
He protect. Karen uses his ability to absorb this fucking laser.
He attacks, but he also protect.
He protect the pillars. And then he attacked the moon.
Yep, so he absorbs the entire nuclear blast with his power and then shoots it into space, into the moon.
And it makes a crater so big on the moon you can see it from Earth.
Yeah, and he collapses immediately after and is like, all right, that's it for me. That is every muscle in my body.
GG, guys. You handle the rest.
And Kurano, the Ashen Reaper, starts to realize this kid is pretty strong. That's a problem.
That's bad. So Kurano steps up to the plate.
And he does his cool smoke sword summon. And
I still think that's cool as shit.
His power is awesome. And he cuts off one of his arms, not his actual arms, but like his giant, like, deep infernal form arms.
Yeah, basically he dismembers the big infernal monster.
And then he drags him out at the end, and the kid's all upset, kind of crying, basically saying that he's got to do better, he's got to produce results. In a weird scene, Kurano's like, you're just a kid. You don't have to produce results. Stay weak so I want to bully you.
Yeah. By being a weird psychopath crazy guy, Kurano drops like some actual wisdom on this child.
Yeah, he's like, you're a kid. You don't have to worry about getting stronger or stuff like that. You don't have to worry about all that pressure. Just stay weak as a kid so I can bully you.
Yeah. Just, you know what? It's okay.
Yeah,
just
he's like,
stay
it's okay.
weak.
He's like, it's okay if I don't succeed. And he's like, yeah, that's fine because you'll be weak.
And then I'll bully you.
And
And everyone's just like, okay.
and Karen's even like, to 99% of people, this would be a really disturbing relationship.
And you know what?
He's like, to the other 1%, it works.
It does work. It does. They
So
balance each other out by
so
both being absolutely batshit crazy.
and Karen notes that he's like, as weird as it is, this guy's probably the protector of the sixth.
And then everybody leaves.
Yep, and so they decide to let Haijima hang on to the kid. Yeah, and it turns out, as for a guy that likes bullying the weak, it's what they said about him probably being as strong as Benimaru is probably true.
Yeah. He basically almost effortlessly shredded this monster that we've been fighting for like 2 episodes.
Rules of nature.
Rules of nature.
But yeah,
That
so
song is crazy.
the incident kind of gets swept under the rug. Apparently, most people don't care about the hole in the moon. They just kind of tell the public that, oh yeah, 32 people died, but it was just because we were doing some Adela burst experiments.
Yeah, a bad thing happened during an experiment, and then the Adola burst, and then a bunch of people died. But it's fine. And everyone was like, "What about the moon?" They were like, "Don't worry about it." And everyone was just like, "Yeah, all right."
Yeah, and then everybody, well, Shinra, Dr. Licht, and Captain Obi get called to Haijima.
Turns out they want a partnership. Hajime wants to partnership.
Because they're like, listen, we're both against the white coats, so it'd be easier if we just work together. But of course, the Eighth isn't exactly pleased with Haijima's methods, and they reveal too that they do know that um, they did help build Amaterasu, and they are aware that there is a person, an Adela burst user inside, and their mentality is, hey, that one person can save the lives of 15 million others. Then, you know what? That's worth it. It's like, wouldn't you do the same as a fire soldier if you could
And
sacrifice yourself for 15 million?
and Shinra's super down with it. He's like, "Hell yeah, I would." And then Captain Obi and Vulcan are like, no. You're worth more than that."
Because by staying alive, you could potentially save more than that.
Yeah.
And then Shinra starts to think to himself, he's like, hey, if all the pillars have protectors, maybe everybody in the Eighth is my protector.
The Eighth as a whole is my protector. And then everyone's happy. The end.
Oh,
And
and then
also they won't kill Licht.
yeah, so I like how he says it so casually. It's like, hey, if you work with us, we won't kill Dr. Licht.
Yeah, he just drops that super casual.
But then, yeah, Vulcan busts in, and he says, I'm going to make a new Amaterasu that doesn't work off of a human sacrifice. And you see the eyes of the president almost get like a curious puppy, even though his tone doesn't change. And he's just like, well, if you could do that, that would really be something. And
Yeah,
he's like,
as
I'm definitely
soon
going to do it. And he's like, well, what if we help sponsor you? Then we'll probably want to cut. He's like, you can have the entire thing. I don't care if I get credit for it as long as it works.
yeah, because Vulcan's cool.
So Haijima decides to sponsor the Eighth.
Yep. So now we've got Hajime working with and Captain Obi is like, what about that whole thing where your captain turned out to be one of the evil dudes? And the president's just like, we have over 7, what is it, like 7 million employees or something like that?
70% of the population works for them.
Yeah, we can't keep an eye on everybody.
He's like, that is our
Which,
bad though.
like, you'd think that they would keep watch over the important people at least, but whatever.
Yeah, especially
Instead of
considering
just
he
like,
was the captain of the third fire force.
yeah, you'd think that would merit a little bit of surveillance, but
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't mean like probably not need to watch the retail employees at like your store locations, but I would
No,
consider that being, of importance, especially a man
they
who dresses like a cyborg plague doctor.
no, the cyborg plague doctor is fine. They need to watch Steve at Macy's and make sure that salty motherfucker is not stealing socks. They don't trust him.
That would be how it would go, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. After working large corporate retail for a number of years, I can assure you that that is exactly what happens. They make sure the cashiers don't take cuts out of the register, and they make sure the stock people don't make off with the socks. It's fun. What's next?
Higurashi.
So, some shit
Higurashi knew.
some shit goes down this week, or
Indeed
went
it
down
does.
this week. Stuff happened.
It was a rough week for our pals in Hinamizawa.
For a lot. Hinamizawa?
Do you know Orashio-sama? Yes,
Yes.
Hinamizawa. I kill
I
you,
kill
you
you,
kill
you
me.
kill me?
No,
No.
Hinamizawa.
Hinamizawa. Um so some shit. Yeah, some shit's going down. Our boy is at home alone because of course he is.
Yep. So Keiichi's at home alone, or so Keiichi's at school, and um,
Oh, right, the clinic stuff.
also I decided to drop the pretense of not talking about spoilers because this is a hard sequel. You just can't.
Yeah, it's impossible, especially because there's some interesting theory crafting stuff, especially going on with this episode that
Yeah,
like
so
you
you
can't.
can't. So full warning: if you don't want any Higurashi spoilers, you can take off now and see you next time.
Yeah, because this is the last episode. Like, subscribe, and all that fun shit.
All right. And so you had your chance. If it's too late now, you're in it. All right.
You can literally pause it. Like, you have no reason to be, oh, I wasn't prepared. I heard something I do.
Oh no,
Bro,
it's like
just
it's
pause
one of
it.
those situations where they click to pause it, but then the audio's still playing, but their screen freezes up, and it's like, hey, Google Chrome is not responding, and it's
Man,
like, no.
I hate when that happens. I hate when that happens so much. That's why we're vamping a little bit to give you a little bit of extra time for your browser to not suck quite so hard.
And at this point, just pull the plug because that's a really shitty browser.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Control Alt Delete, homie. Alt F4. Use all your hotkeys.
Ugh.
Okay, theory crafting time.
So, in this episode, Keiichi is home alone. Well, he talks to Rika, and Rika seems to think that he is on the same timeline as one of the ones before. So she tells him, like, oh, she's like, this is the first timeline. So she tells him, hey, trust in your friends. I know you might, because she thinks, oh, Keiichi's the one that's paranoid. So she pats his head and she tells him to trust Rena, and he thinks, like, yeah, I'll trust Rena. And so
Turns
he's
out
home
this is a
alone.
bad idea.
Turns out it's the other way around. But yeah, so he is home alone, and then his parents call him, and they're like, "Hey, Keiichi, we're busy. We're in Tokyo for work, so Rena's gonna come by and give you dinner." And at first, he's
Sorry.
really nervous about that. He's like,
Sorry, neither of us felt it was necessary to like leave a note or tell you beforehand or give you any advance notice. We're just gonna call you up at like 6:30 p.m. Yeah, we're in Tokyo for work, so we called your friend to bring you some dins.
maybe they think they're being cool parents because it's like, oh, we're gonna have him be home alone with the girl.
His dad did make a little bit of a overture, and I think it
Yeah.
was the last episode where it was like, you sly dog, you're getting some.
Yep. So they probably think they're being cheeky like that. But yeah, so Rena does show up, and yeah, so she's there at the door, and it's one of those. It's they kind of try to allure back to the previous series where she's like, "Let me in, Keiichi," and he's like freaking out, and you could just kind of see her like looking through the chain.
It's real spooky and it's real not good, but
Yep.
Keiichi, the words of
And
Rika
in the
echo in his
original,
head.
it was actually fine because he was the one that was a little off.
The the irony is palpable.
Because there's a scene where he's eating food in the original one that she gives to him, and he spits up a needle because, like, you know,
Yeah,
needles were stuck in the food. But of
yeah.
course, this didn't actually happen. But in his mind, it did. And the mind is your most powerful enemy.
In the palace of the mind.
But he actually opens up the door and she sees him standing there, and he notices she just has a stack of like bento boxes, and he's like, oh. And he feels bad for doubting her, and he gives her a big hug.
Yeah.
Of
And
course, with her being at like level 5 Hinamizawa syndrome, that probably fucking terrified her.
oh yeah.
In her mind, that was probably an attack.
But she's like, why don't you go in and sit down and I will make us the food.
I
Don't
saw
worry about it. Just keep watching TV.
I saw so many good edits of this scene where he's sitting there and she's like, so she's taking out the bento boxes. And of course, well, he's like, hey, Rena, I just wanted to say I'm really sorry for doubting you earlier. And then he switched to like the TV channels, and one of them is going like, and it's terrible that the body was dismembered in such a way. And then cuts back to her in the other room, and all of the bento boxes are filled with torture devices.
This bitch showed up to his house armed up like fucking Dexter.
It's bone saws, like handcuffs, knives,
Handcuffs,
needles.
all kinds of bad stuff. Rope. She's about to she's about to exercise her dark passenger on Keiichi.
Yeah. But I saw so many good edits of this, where one was her standing there, like, like looking, her eyes are shaded out so you don't really see it, just looking down, but like her with a sombrero on and all the boxes are filled with tacos. And there was one edit where it was like in a WebM form, and she was like, hey, so what do you prefer, McDonald's or do you like Kentucky Fried Chicken or McDonald's? He's like, nah, I'm more of a Kentucky Fried Chicken man. I can't really stand McDonald's. And it just shows her looking sad back there with all the things filled with McDonald's.
Oh,
but yeah, he's like,
you love the meme edits.
So he walks in, he's just like, hey, Rena, I want to apologize. Lately, I've been suspecting you of, being kind of shady lately, and I wanted to say I'm sorry. And he walks in and he just sees her with all the murder supplies, and he's like, oh.
I will admit, I did kind of laugh at that, because there's just something kind of darkly hilarious about this guy choosing to trust her and then walking into the room to see just this massive arsenal of clearly torture devices on his kitchen table, and just that sheer moment of, oh.
And you know what? We got off easy because, again, you didn't watch the original series. For anyone freaking out about that, we're too late. We're in it now.
Yeah.
He's starting with new and has to go back after. He's doing it in the absolute worst way possible.
Whatever.
But whatever.
This is how the cards have unfolded.
Ryushiki was like, hey, you can start from this one, but I'm assuming he's only saying that because, of course, he wants to promote his new series.
Yeah, he fucking lied.
Yeah, but so
cool.
He immediately notices all this shit, and in the original series, there is a lot of torture.
Oh,
there's one scene where Keiichi actually gets tortured by someone. I think it's Mion. I'm not sure, but he ends up like getting like nails like between his fingers, like his joints.
Well, we might still get that, so don't count your chickens.
We'll get it. Come on, this is Higurashi. There's some. I think the most brutal one is. I'll say spoiling things that don't need to be spoiled, but yeah. Just for you specifically, I don't care about the audience anymore because you know what you're in for now. You know anything.
I want to watch torture scenes fresh. I want to see I want to see fresh child torture.
But
so quote that.
She doesn't get to torture him, but because of course he walks in, so she runs at him with a knife, and he takes out a golf club, which is in the kitchen for some reason.
Yeah, that's where I keep all my golf clubs.
And
what if I want to play the back nine into the bathroom?
They fight for a second, but she knocks it out of his hand, so he runs away, and she chases him, and she kind of slashes at him and kind of cuts his arms just a little bit, but then he pushes her, and she falls and hits her head on the table, and she looks like she's down for a second, and he's like, is it over? And he kind of walks closer to her.
It does the horror movie thing.
Yeah, like the jump. So he walks over and he checks to see if she's okay, if she's passed out, and then she jumps and attacks him and stabs him in the chest.
This does not go well.
Yep, so then she jumps on top of him and consistently keeps stabbing him, and there's just blood everywhere. She stabs him in the stomach like 50 times, and the most nearby thing he has is an alarm clock.
So that is his new improvised weapon.
So he takes the alarm clock and just starts bashing her in the head with it. And yeah, so it's kind of a goofy scene, but like it's
She's
it's
stabbing him
so,
while he is whacking her in the head with an alarm clock.
and there's just a fountain of blood everywhere. And then after it shows the two of them just lying there, and then him just form up with like tears in his eyes, and I'm like, oh no, is Keiichi dead? And then they cut to a few days later with him in the hospital.
Yep, turns out he's pretty fine.
For a guy that was stabbed in the gut like 50 times, he's doing okay.
After 2 days, he sits up basically immediately.
Yeah.
That's Keiichi is sus.
Although I have heard stories of people that have lived from that sort of thing. It's just
I don't doubt that
weird and rare.
I don't doubt that he would live. I doubt that they would let him sit up without being like, hey, you have like 78 stitches in your stomach. Why don't you just lie down for a little bit longer? Don't want to pop that shit out.
Although I don't like, because even then, if he got stabbed that many times, like his parents weren't going to be back till the next day.
That's a lot of blood. That's a lot of blood to lose.
That's a lot of time to bleed out, especially with how much was in the room. But yes, he ends up his parents are there and they're like hug him because they're glad he's okay. And he asks them what happened, and they're like, yeah, we found you when we came back, and it's like thank God you're still alive. And he's like, what happened to Rena? And everyone gets real evasive.
Don't worry about it.
You just rest up. Everything will be okay. Mion even visits him, and she's like, yeah. So he's like, what happened to Rena? My parents won't tell me. And they're like, she didn't make it.
She did. You killed that bitch with an alarm clock.
And so she also mentions, oh yeah, by the way, someone also with a knife as well went and killed Satoko and Rika.
Yeah, so how's that gonna turn out?
So that's still a mystery, because these are the question arcs, so of course everything is all mystery.
Yeah, we need to get our answer arcs.
And so next. She's like, yeah, so rest up, Keiichi, because it is essentially just you and me now. All of our friends are dead, so you better get well.
You better enjoy spending time with me, motherfucker, because it's just you and me from here on out.
And so she heads out, and he's back. The nurse comes in, and she's like, all right, time to check your wounds. Also, how does your neck feel? Any itchiness at all?
Itchy?
And then he recalls Rena scratching her neck, and then he goes up and scratches his.
And then he screams, ah!
Because he's got the Hanamizawa syndrome.
Ah, he's got it too. Ah.
But yeah, so theory crafting. Rena never got it. When she hit her head, she stayed down.
Yeah, I think that is the most sensible theory, because he has like very few injuries on him in the hospital. He was definitely not stabbed.
So
he wasn't stabbed like 50 times in the stomach.
Yeah, so he ended up getting. So she definitely had Hanamizawa level 5. Like, she was fully gone.
She was nutso crazy super bonkers banana pants.
And I think the second she started attacking him, I think he was kind of getting it, but Rika helped ease his mind a little bit, his paranoia. But then she kicked it into overdrive.
Yeah, showing up like Dexter and then stabbing him did not help.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would, set someone's mind a little ablaze.
That would amp me up a little bit too.
Yep. And so I think she did cut him the first time, but then he pushed her and she hit her head. And then after that, he just started losing it, and he imagined her attacking him for all the other ones. But she never got up. He just got on top of her and beat her skull in with the alarm clock.
Which is why everyone's kind of a little sus about Keiichi. Yeah,
which is clearly he was defending himself. She clearly brought stuff there to kill him and did attack him. But he went a little overboard in self-defense to the point where everyone's like, yeah.
He did beat an unconscious person to death with an alarm clock.
Yeah.
That is a thing that happened.
He was in the right, but
Only just.
only just barely. But yeah, so Hinamizawa syndrome kicked in, and we still don't know who killed Rika and Satoko, because spoiler, because it goes along with the theory crafting. The main bad guy for Higurashi was Takano, the blonde woman it shows.
Yeah.
But they've essentially solved that at the end of the original, and I don't think it's going to be her again. So I have to wonder who it is. Also, in the original, you know how they go missing? You know how in this one they both went missing, Tomitake and Takano?
Yeah.
In the original, Tomitake dies and his body is found. It's not like he just goes missing, and Takano is the one that goes missing.
Hmm.
'Cause she
Perhaps a
recently does that.
reversal?
Yeah, so who knows?
Who knows?
Because
If
normally that's how it goes. Because everything is different now, which is why Rika's getting pulled back into it.
yeah.
And a
Although
lot of
she's
people
dead
are
now.
theorizing that this is going to end up tying into Umineko in some way.
I could see that. That would be tying together two of your works with
They
a third series it's not uncommon.
Because Umineko's whole thing is about witches and like magic. Umineko's actually kind of interesting just because it's about witches, but it's about a dude basically denying witches their existence by explaining how their crimes could be done logically. It's like the reverse of like, hey, I did this with magic. It's like, no, you didn't. Here's how it could have been done without magic. Ah, you have defeated me.
That is some shit right there.
Umineko's good shit. I've actually just recently started reading the manga because it's just a lot faster to go through than the visual novel. But the visual novel I'm going back to again because it has the best OST of any visual novel ever released. You can quote me on that.
Nice.
The Umineko soundtrack I would want to own. It's that much of a banger. Every single track on there is good. In
I
fact,
don't know.
don't just read it for the music.
I will play the visual novel just to listen to some sick tunes.
Well, the good news is it's on sale on Steam because, spooky game.
Oh yeah. No shit. Then maybe I actually will.
And you can get the PC sprites for it instead of the original sprites, which are something.
They're a little busted.
They're the SpongeBob art style.
Oh.
They're not, but they're just his old art.
Yeah.
His art was not that good back in the day. It has a charm now to it, like if you look at Siconia, his new one, because it's refined now. He still kind of has that aesthetic, but it's got a charm to it. Some people like the old way Higurashi and Umineko look. I personally don't. I feel it takes me out of the horror.
That's how it be sometimes.
I
Good
want to
art can make or break a series.
I have it. I just recently got it on PC, and I wanted to. I recently got it and on Steam, and I wanted to get the PS3 sprites for it because those are my favorite ones. I think those look the best. So I get like the patch for the PS3 sprites.
There's got to be like a mod or something you
There
can
is, yeah.
download?
I used to have it back in the day, back before it was officially released in English with like the patch and everything. But it was a pain to get set up. So I don't want to do that method again. I'd rather just. That's the thing about piracy. If you can give me the option to just buy it legitimately, I'll totally do it. Which now you
Yeah,
can. You
because
can buy it legitimately.
we would never dream of pirating anything ever.
Because it was just I remember back in the day, it was a total pain in the ass to get that set up.
That you know what?
Like my virus thing was like, you shouldn't run this, and I'm like, yes, I should run it. Stop it.
We would never ever dream of pirating anything.
Also, the PS3 patch has voice acting,
Oh, that's tight.
and Battler is voiced by Daisuke Ono, I believe.
That's extra tight.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Even more reason.
But yeah, check out Umineko. It's good. It might be relevant soon. And you know what? Umineko's kind of my shit. It's like he took the European sort of mystery aesthetic and applied it to he tried to like do his own thing with it, because it's essentially the plot of Umineko, if you don't know it, is this wealthy family um all go to this island that they own because the grandfather lives there, and the grandfather is dying, and basically all the siblings are fighting for inheritance, and then all the grandkids, which the protagonist is one of them, are all just kind of friends with each other, hanging out there while their parents basically fight about inheritance, and then a bunch of series of murders start happening, and it goes full like detective mode, and then you find out witches.
So if you like witches and detectives and inheritance and just chilling on a cool island, check out Umineko.
Yeah, when the seagulls cry.
When those seagulls fucking cry, dude.
And again,
You give 'em a tissue.
every track is a banger. Every
If
single track.
if you want to listen to more of our banger tracks,
We're
then
not
you
done yet.
should. We're not?
No. I
What?
still was theory crafting.
Really?
I was still theory crafting.
What else is left?
I'm just kidding. No, we can end it.
Then nothing. I've been debated
Been debated, but yeah,
because we have
Umineko.
been going
Go
for
go
over an hour.
go read Umineko. I still haven't read Syconia, which is this new thing, just because I like to wait till everything's finished, because it's coming out in pieces.
Ew. I hate that.
Like, I don't want to read the questions and then not have the answers for like another like year or so,
Yeah, that
maybe
sucks.
several.
That
Although
sucks.
this man is not Kinoko Nasu, so I don't have to worry about never getting it.
That is also fair.
Kinoko Nasu, hey guys, it's 2010. Are you ready for me to announce the Tsukihime remake? Yeah, when's that gonna come out? Probably soon. Hey guys, it's 2020. I'm still working on that Tsukihime remake.
Holy shit, Nasu, you've been here the whole time? How could
Yeah,
you work on it from this room? I
I actually
couldn't.
haven't been here. I'm Nasu, so I've been busy playing Bloodborne.
I was I was playing Bloodborne the whole time. I'm sorry, guys. But
All I
don't
do is
worry,
play
y'all.
the Souls games, and then I write a chapter for FGO every now and then.
I'll get there. Don't worry about it.
I thought about writing more stuff, but then I realized that my gacha game was just bringing in so much fucking money that I don't have to work anymore.
We need to cancel FGO if we want Nasu to start writing again. That's it. That it's a hard choice, but
Nasu
it's
has
one
the
we got to
best
make.
life.
He does. That's a wicked sweet gig.
Also, think about this. He wrote all these stories in high school. He's literally been coasting his entire life off shit he wrote in high school.
That's man.
Like
And
Kara
what
no
have we done?
Tyokai, The Garden of Sinners, he wrote that in high school and then like published it
Really?
later. Yeah. He
Damn.
had the idea for Fate Stay Night, I'm pretty sure, in high school too. It was supposed to be what Prototype is, so it was gonna be like King Arthur was gonna be a dude, Protagonist was gonna be a female, so it was gonna be like a Bishojo game or Bishonen game.
And you know what? Fate in general does seem like an idea that someone came up in high school.
I remember I really loved it in high school, so that makes sense.
You know what? Me too. And if you're in high school and you love us, then feel free to subscribe on whatever media you are listening to this on. We are on basically everything at this point.
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, at Protagonist Seat. Subscribe on YouTube because that's the preferred platform. That's how we measure success.
Yes. But all your listens on your pod players, they do count. I do look at those statistics.
He doesn't tell me them, but he looks.
Well, you never ask. I don't know.
Send me them. Send me the statistic. I need the data.
All right. I will
Send me
I
the
will
data.
I will literally screenshot the graphs and I will send you the graphs.
Good. I need the data.
The data. I need the data.
This
if you
episode
need
might
the
come out
data.
a day late just because I don't want to like destroy myself, but that's fine.
We're on a little bit of a crunch, but
Yeah.
we will handle it and you will get the things that you want and need. Do
We
not
got
worry.
we got like 2 days till we record the next episode.
Yeah, yeah. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Anyway, thank you all for listening and for being here and being a friend.
Thank
Thank
you
you for
for being
being
a
a
friend.
friend. I'm glad we were both on the same line of thinking with that.
Hmm.
Anyway,
That's a good
goodbye.
note to end on. Goodbye.
Class dismissed.